Oh hey, why the red cheeks and the pot gut? Oh, you're seeing a nutritionist. What do they tell you? Eat 1 extra vegetable per week? Oh, buddy, I'm sure that'll do it. No, but really the obesity rates are rising still. They're already pretty high, but I'm pretty sure they're still going up. And there's a lot of reasons for this, but I'm gonna cover the ones that I don't think people are really talking about much. I mean, this issue, it's, you know, so closely linked to so many deaths and reduced quality of life. So what's really happening? I think a lot of it comes down to information, which we'll get into. Information, dude. Like when you go to McDonald's, you don't order the Coke, dude. You gotta get the extra large pre-worky. Like, what are you doing? My name's Shay. Hold on. Hi, I'm Shay. I'm a nutritionist and an international level athlete, and yeah, obesity keeps going up. Why is this happening? Why are there so many reasons that people aren't talking about? It's not just the food supply. Okay, so part 1, I'm just gonna call the system, at least that's what I put in my notes. And anyway, I'm not really a super conspiracy theorist person. I think a lot of the time these conspiracy theories, like they have some basing, but it's just easier explained by these people are just not very smart as opposed to them intentionally trying to hurt people. Now, one of the big points here is pills over lifestyle. Now, a lot of these people running into health issues are going to be seeing professionals who are going to be saying, oh, take these pills. You know, it's no surprise that pharmaceutical companies and, you know, hospitals even, they want profits, okay? I mean, I don't think they're trying to kill people necessarily. Like any other business, they want profits, right? And they don't get profit by telling you to go for a run. They tell you, okay, well, stay on these meds forever. Yes, a good doctor will also give you a lifestyle adjustment and some recommendations, hopefully. If not, see another doctor. But really, there's a psychological mechanism called risk compensation. And what does this mean? Well, basically, people are going to adjust their decisions based on the amount of perceived risk. So how does this come into play here? Well, so you go in to see your doctor, your blood pressure is about as pressurized as your bladder after 2 liters of high quality pre-worky. Your blood lipids are analogous to butter, and you have the expected life expectancy of like a teenage relationship. And it's like, oh, just take these pills, it'll slow things down. Oh yeah, and this one, and that one over there. Oh, and I got some more in here. This will counter the side effects of that one. It's like, hello. But yeah, guy goes home, takes his pills, hops on COD with the boys, calls it a day. And, you know, if you believe that these pills are going to help you out, which, you know, to be fair, pharmaceuticals, they do work. That's, you know, part of the problem. But the thing is, if you think that these pills are going to work, there's no incentive to actually change your lifestyle. And we know that lifestyle changes will make a much larger effect than any pharmaceutical will. This is true for diabetes. You know, exercise and building muscle will actually reverse pre-diabetes in like 6 weeks, which is ridiculous. We know that exercise is actually better than some of the mental health meds that people give. I think a better way to explain this is like, okay, back in the day before we had these strong, potent meds, if you came into these with like what I said before, like the butter blood, we'll just call it, and like the low life expectancy, you don't have the means to fix this. So the risk compensation means, well, either I exercise and fix my diet and sleep and whatever, or I die. It's that simple. And I'm not just trying to blame the patients or the pharma companies here. It's more so like, okay, well, if these people believe that these pills are just going to fix the issues, they don't really have a reason to change their lifestyle. You know, they probably don't want to. No one really likes change, even though it's usually a good thing. And the other part of the equation is I really don't believe many professionals actually know what they're talking about. Like, I went through university, undergrad and postgrad for nutrition, and to be honest, I don't really think people know what they're talking about. Like, the education system doesn't help either. Like, we spent so long on diabetes, but we don't actually talk about the interventions that actually have more efficacy, right? Like the building muscle to counter diabetes. That's huge, but we just didn't cover it at all. The fact that insulin sensitivity is weaker in the evening, so you shouldn't have like a carb-based bomb in the evening. Didn't talk about that either. Didn't talk about exercise snacks, like random bouts of exercise throughout the day to clear glucose out of your blood, load it into your muscle. Don't talk about that either. We just talk about fiber and vegetables. Like, thanks guys. Like, I'm ready. Put me out in the real world. Give me some obese people, and I'm sure I won't make a difference. And another one, like obesity again, right? Obesity is linked to diabetes. It's like a bit of a loop with insulin insensitivity leads to overeating, leads to obesity, all circles back. But basically, inflammation is another big point for managing diabetes. We didn't really cover anti-inflammatory foods either, like flavonoids or omega-3s or whatever, just didn't cover it. It's like, hello? Are we trying to help people here? Now, of course, a good professional will do their own research, but, you know, if you just rely on people to do that, it might be a bit problematic because they're not really forced to. I mean, yes, there's some sort of checkup as to say, like, you're still growing as a doctor, as a nutritionist, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're actually learning the right things, if that makes sense. Additionally, most of the med school programs, they don't really cover too much on diet and exercise. You know, they got bigger things to worry about, but from what I know, it's like quite a limited section of the course, which kind of makes sense. It's like, if you're going to be like a heart surgeon, make sure you're doing that part right before you think about giving exercise requirements. But yeah, basically, as a whole, like the system, I hate blaming the system. I don't want to be one of those guys, but I don't have too much faith in professionals. I think there's a lot of better information out there that you're not going to get from them. So it's like, why am I giving you my money? Now, part 2 is kind of an extension. I'm just calling it like the information state at the moment. And I think a big part of why people can't make positive changes is the fact that the information isn't right? How are you going to act and make positive changes if you don't know how to, right? And I do empathize a little bit with people that fall into this, because you got brands saying literally contrary stuff. Like, oh, this brand says, oh, sugar's terrible, buy our stuff with so low sugar but it's high fat, and the vice versa. It's like, oh, our stuff has some sugar, but trust me guys, it's low fat, it's good for you. And they're saying these things with like high conviction, so it's like, how do you really know what's true? And that's just one example, especially when you consider the anchoring effect, which means the first piece of information people get, they're gonna stick with and be reluctant to change their mind, which is problematic if the first bit of information was just trash anyway, just like a sales pitch really. And then you get these people who, they're reluctant to change their mind and stuck on evidence, well, not even evidence, just false claims really. And the education system doesn't really help either. This is like the foundational thing, conditioning people to think, you know, what foods are, you know, good for you. And I think, you know, it's not terrible, you know, pushing vegetables, fresh vegetables isn't a bad thing. But the dissuading meat's a bit funny just because the big meta-analyses say it's linked to cardiovascular diseases, but that's only because people who usually eat high meat is usually like a lot of fast food stuff. It's like, oh, I eat a lot of beef and chicken at McDonald's and KFC, dude. But when you push things like high fruit and high vegetables, fresh, right? Frozen's fine too, but I think the problem is if people can't afford these fresh things, they just kind of think, well, if I can't afford a healthy diet, why bother trying? Send me to McDonald's, dude. I'm going. And as well, if you're budgeting, like frozen fruits and vegetables are pretty cheap, dude. They're not that bad. And as well, like canned legumes, like chickpeas, your lentils, your beans. Also great stuff, good macronutrient content, fiber, protein, like everything you need is in there, dude. You really can get away with cheap meals, like, you know, some chickpeas, some lentils, some frozen vegetables, cook it up in some olive oil, put it on rice. You can have some meat in there if you're trying to save money. I personally usually go for roadkill. It's good stuff if you get it fresh first thing in the morning. Like the tire tracks kind of give it that charred barbecue look on it, which, you know, I'm a bit of a fan of. It's a good day when I can find like a fresh pig carcass in the middle of the road. I just know I'm eating good that day. The information state at the moment is like the big issue. Again, you can't make changes if you don't actually have the right information. And if you have the wrong information, then the changes are more or less counterproductive, and then you make the changes, you're making an effort, but you don't get any results, so you just fall back into old habits, because it's like, well, I'm putting all this effort, but it isn't even working. When in reality, like, there are easy interventions like what I mentioned before, like exercise snacks, you know, short bouts of exercise, building a little bit of muscle to counter diabetes. There's a lot of things out there that are very effective, and, you know, not as much investment. You don't have to completely rework your whole lifestyle. So, but again, it boils down to like the fact that there are no sales with like quality information. Like if I say go exercise and eat some vegetables, I'm not trying to sell you anything, and I can't profit off of you, which is why companies don't do it, which is why, you know, maybe some people within hospitals don't do it. It's like, oh, take these meds, dude. But yeah, anyway, that's been me. Let me know what you think. Let me know what other reasons you think there might be for rising obesity and poor health that maybe the mainstream doesn't cover that much. But yeah, let me know down below. If you enjoyed this, there's some more videos there. I'll see you next time.